I do every day. I work for a self-publishing company, so a company who publishes books. So I work as a sub-editor and make sure that the books are all correct.
Just unmute yourself. Thank you, ma'am, so much. My question is directed to Ms. Nicola. I want to ask, what is the difference between secondary news and primary news?
Good question. Your primary news is you spoke to the person who can give you that information firsthand. You haven't read it in a paper, you haven't read it online, you haven't picked up the research paper, you have spoken to that person or had an email conversation with them, however you've gathered it, you have got it firsthand you are getting firsthand primary information from me right now. Okay? Secondary information, a secondary source is anything outside of that, secondary, third, whatever, but a secondary source could, for example, be
Just unmute yourself.
What role does social media play in evolving the practice of public relations?
Okay, I'm not a public relations person. I've always been a journalist, okay? So I'm taking an educated guess, but I'm not. It's not from personal experience. However, social media is the platforms by which public relations companies now have a broader audience. So they can distribute their news far faster, far easier, and far more broadly than they could by sending out a press release to it's not only social media, it's all media. How do you maintain relationships with PR practitioners and still run stories about the organization they represent? And what do journalists gain from having a relationship with a public relations practitioner? And I think, JJ, your wife has explained a lot about that. That the two are, journalists and PRs have a symbiotic relationship. Neither of them can do their job without the other. But that both of you have to respect what needs to come out of it because the answers are different. So you need to have that contact. You need to have somebody like JJ's wife said. As a journalist, you need to have people on speed dial who can answer your questions immediately, and they're going to be your solid link. But they also need to understand that if there's bad news from the company,